Siomra beag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sure Look, Sure Listen, the podcast that takes a pop at culture.
Sure look, sure listen. Sure look, sure listen.
Sure look, sure listen.
Sure look, sure listen.
Sure look, sure listen.
Sure look, sure listen.
Sure look, sure listen. Oh, very good, very exciting, Benjamin. It's been a big week of pop culture, including you've seen Barbie, and I haven't, but look, we'll get into that at another time, because we've loads of things to look at, including the inexplicably terrible One Piece trailer, including the complete lack of shitstorm surrounding it for whatever reason. One of the best ever video game announcements with the new Mortal Kombat it's called, and Invincible Season 2, look at all these voice actors. Then you've sent me a trailer for something which looks like something I would make up on the spot when I couldn't think of the name of something, Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose, and a new trailer for The Marvels.
Sure, listen, Michael, if that wasn't enough, and I think we might be up to our necks, Michael, in content this week. What an amount of content to get through.
Swimming in content, Ben.
Swimming in content, Michael. But if that wasn't enough, Michael, you and I are strangely in line with our understanding of the video gaming franchise Twisted Metal, Michael. And we got a new trailer 14 days ago, and in a very unfashionable podcasting move, we didn't cover it 14 days ago. So we're covering it now, and we're taking a deep dive on the lore of Twisted Metal.
Yeah, we were playing the long game, let's say.
Yes, the long game, Michael. Somewhat like the recent trailer for One Piece that we got. It must be playing a long game, Michael, and the long game pays off in the end by not being shit.
No, I'd say it's going to be shit, Ben. I think the main thing that's surprising about how shit this trailer is where is the absolute fan shitstorm?
This is a good question. So One Piece is a massively popular anime, Michael, based on a massively popular manga. And one of the things, Michael, that I suppose jumped out to me immediately from this live-action adaptation from Netflix is, where's the colour? Where's the pizzazz? Why have they shot it in a weird, muted sepia tone? What's that about?
This looks to me like everything that the fans of, what was that one called, Cowboy Bebop, said was wrong about the Cowboy Bebop show, but without the budget.
Yeah, and this time they've just taken the money away, because they're like, well, I'm not going to sink another fortune into another anime, so just do it the same and learn nothing from it, but I won't give you as much money. Yeah,
and what do you think of these actors? They're the best we could find.
Those are some interesting choices, aren't they, Michael? The performances there were middling, to say the least.
Very strange, Ben. Ben, I know nothing about One Piece other than it's about the boy pirate Luffy and his crew of pirates.
Yeah, so it's based around the world of Monkey D. Luffy, and it's set in the world of the Grand Line, or rather they're aiming for the Grand Line, Michael, which is a line of islands where the famous pirate... I can't remember his name. It escapes me. But anyway, there's a world famous pirate. I think it was Jolly Roger. I'm not 100% sure. I think they may have changed the name. Nandor Fodor. And he was executed by the Marine Corps of this world, and he buried his treasure somewhere in the Grand Line, and it's created kind of a mass treasure hunt for his treasure. And Monkey D. Luffy wants to be the Pirate King, Michael, because the man who finds that treasure becomes the Pirate King. And on his way, he collects a merry band of misfits, Michael. He collects Nami, who's the navigator. That's the red-headed girl we saw in the trailer.
Oh.
Yeah, he collects Zoro, the world's most famous and dangerous bounty hunter. He's got swords.
Oh, like the character Zorro.
Like the character Zorro, Michael. You've got Sanji, who's the chef. He's the one with the British accent for some reason.
Hello, I'm British.
Yes, he's British. And then I can't remember the names of the other characters. There is a small elk creature that can transform into 3 different types of elk. You heard that correctly. And he's called Chopper, but I have no idea if he's in this. I didn't see a little elk creature anywhere.
You're saying elk, not elf. Elk.
Elk.
Like
the large horned creature.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The horned ruminant. Are elks ruminants? I don't know. One of our biology listeners will be able to tell us that. Ben, this looks dreadful. It looks so cheap, and I don't know. I don't know. There's not even any controversy around this. Where's the controversy?
Where's the outrage, Michael?
There's no race baiting controversy. There's no, like, this is woke gone mad controversy. There's no pandering controversy. There's no whitewashing controversy. Just no one cares.
Nobody cares, Michael. What's going on? Are One Piece fans secretly just the soundest of people? Is that why there's no controversy? Is it just when we've... Is it just...
We fucking ruined each other's bits there. I'm not even going to cut that out, 'cause it's funny how badly we fucking stepped over each other there. That was some fucking first day shit. Benjamin, is the One Piece fandom just so chill that they're like, oh yeah, it might be good, it might be bad, whatever, we'll give it a watch, I suppose.
We can't really judge it before we've seen it, guys. Come on, a bit of composure. Or is it a case of, oh, that's a slightly different race from how it's depicted in the comic books, but that's fine. There are lots of people in the world, and it's probably a good thing to have diverse casting.
Or whatever, I'm not going to get upset about it either way.
It doesn't really matter. This is all fine. All fine. It's just another form of the franchise I love. What's not to love?
Yeah. And look at this fellow with his big stretchy arms.
Monkey D. Luffy. Yeah, it's so... Michael, very interesting. Some of the graphics fine. Some of the graphics, oh boy.
Oh, graphics is an interesting term. That bloody saber-toothed shark nose man.
Oh yeah,
that's
classic.
Straight out of amateur cosplay.
Yeah.
Prosthetics.
It was weird. It was weird.
I don't know, I don't know, Ben. I don't have a lot to say about it. I think we'd have a lot more to say about it were there any controversy. But since there isn't.
Michael, if the world got along, there would be no podcasts.
Oh, what would we even talk about? I suppose we talk about the reveal for the secret guest characters in the new Mortal Kombat, which is confusingly,
good.
Thank you very much, is confusingly and annoyingly called Mortal Kombat.
Yes, it's a little soft reboot, Michael.
Have they not done that?
Yeah, but you can do that as many times as you want now, Michael. It doesn't matter.
So you do like Mortal Kombat 1 to 9.
Yeah.
Then you do Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
And then you do Mortal Kombat again.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Michael, we're only about 10 episodes away from another massive rebrand ourselves.
We just call it Sure Look, Sure Listen 1.
Yeah, but I think we're just going to rebrand to Begorra, just to really amp up the Irishness where we can.
Begosh and Begorra. We can play characters. I'll be John Begosh and you'll be Samuel Begorra.
Oh, I very much like that. I'll be a Beckettian kind of guy who's always looking for a lot of depth in not so subtle and nuanced material. Very good.
Very good, Benjamin. Speaking of depth in subtle and nuanced material, look at all these secret characters in Mortal Kombat.
Michael, there's
favourite?
so many. Oh, we're not. This is not.
We're all over the place. This is just amateur hour. Ben, there's so many characters. Look at them all. Who's your favourite? Is it Omni Man from Dublin's North Side?
Oh, Omni Man, where you get the best bargains or I'll smash you.
Is it John Peacekeeper from John Cena?
Oh, yeah, John Peacekeeper. That's his name, definitely.
That's definitely his name. Or is it several of these Mortal Kombat characters, some of whom I recognise and some of whom I don't?
Michael, my favourite character by far is Homer Lander.
Homer Lander, yeah.
Yeah, off of The Lads on Amazon Prime.
Very good. It's Homelander, Ben, you absolute ginnet.
Yes, very good. Aiming to just crank up the Begorra-ness just little by little until we do the grand reveal. Everything's going to be green and orange. It'll be great. Yeah, Michael, look, this will be interesting. I don't...
Are Homelander and Omni-Man just going to be reskins of each other?
I think Omni-Man is significantly more powerful than Homelander, is he not?
Yeah, but with these crossover characters in the Mortal Kombat universe, I mean, they're going to be fighting John Rambo, who's a normal bloke.
Yes, John Rambo's in this franchise. How many guest cameos are there now? Is Darth Vader in Mortal Kombat?
I think Darth Vader did a Mortal Kombat. John Rambo did a Mortal Kombat. RoboCop did a Mortal Kombat. The Terminator.
I know Batman and Superman do it now as well.
Well, Batman and Superman did a crossover with the Mortal Kombat.
Oh, okay.
Joker did a Mortal Kombat, I think. Jason Voorhees, I think, did a Mortal Kombat. I think maybe the Predator did a Mortal Kombat, and I mean the character the Predator, not a sexual predator.
Although we don't know what the people working on Mortal Kombat are like. There might be one or two in there.
Well, apparently, what they're really good at is doing deals across multimedia franchises.
Apparently they absolutely smash it, Michael.
How did they get DC and The Boys and Invincible all in one game? Not just in one game. You would have thought that they wouldn't want... I mean, unless they're all owned by the same parent company eventually. Maybe they are.
I think everything is.
Everything is, isn't it? It's all Disney anyway. No matter what, they're lying to us and pretending who's really making it.
Yeah,
but
it's all Disney.
To have them all in the same trailer is so weird.
It's a very unnerving prospect, Michael, where you're just kind of like, oh, okay. I like that they reintroduce some of their own Mortal Kombat characters as if people would care. After
Quan
seeing...
Chi.
Yeah, I don't know if people care. The Quan Chi
Ermac.
is back.
Takeda.
What's his name?
Ermac.
Who is that, Michael?
Ermac. Ermac is a secret purple ninja character who grew out of an urban legend from either Mortal Kombat 1 or Mortal Kombat 2 that there was a character created by a machine error, and he was a secret imaginary character called Error Machine, and the machine shortened it to Ermac.
Very good.
And as the Mortal Kombat creators do, every rumour that has ever happened in Mortal Kombat has ended up in the next game.
It's a good idea. It's a nice way to keep fans engaged.
Exactly. Street
Good
Fighter
fan
did it too with
service.
the character Shen Long.
Shen Long. What was his deal?
Shen Long was a mistranslation.
Oh, very good.
And in Street Fighter 2, Ryu, in one of his ending fighting scenes, says, "You'll never defeat Shen Long." And everyone's like, "Oh, who's Shen Long?" And then they introduced him as a playable character in like Street Fighter 72 or whatever.
Michael, here's a very important question for you.
What?
Do you ever think we're going to get a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's inevitable.
it's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Practically every other fighting game franchise has crossed over at this stage.
Yes, they've all done it. They've all had a bit of what are you having yourself, father?
Yeah, what are you having? Would you like a bit of Namco in there? Would you
Yeah.
like a bit of Street Fighter Cross Tekken? Would you like some SNK versus Capcom?
I probably
How about
wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't enjoy it, Ben. It was too complex for you.
It's very violent, Michael. Very
Everyone's
violent.
always kicking and punching each other.
As my mother would say, very violent. I just don't like those violent things.
Which is why you loved Invincible Season 1.
Yeah, Michael, very violent cartoon. Dear God. Dear God, I'm just having flashbacks now to Michael, to the crimson mist that settles on the filter of that particular show. Just sits there.
Good news for you and your mother, Benjamin. It's coming back for a Season 2 with
Oh,
many
she'll be
voice
delighted.
actors.
She'll be delighted. Michael, it seemed to me that the trailer we watched was more about the voice actors than any kind of content on the show.
Yeah, because you know why, Ben? Here's why. Because this is why. I'll tell you why, right?
Go on, tell me why.
Because when you're making an animated program,
Yeah.
you record those voice actors years in advance. So all of that voice acting is done. So the SAG-AFTRA strike isn't going to affect Invincible Season 2. So they're going like, put all the famous people in the trailer, get that fucking animation finished, and get it out there. I don't care how many Korean animators have to die. Get that animation out there right now.
Michael, it seems to be that any time you want to become an animator, you must commit yourself to a life of suffering and never seeing those you love. Because one of the worst things that's happened, one of the best and worst things that's recently happened in cinema is Across the Spider-Verse. But we found out more recently that the conditions the animators worked under to create that little kind of multimedia masterpiece of animation were horrific, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone willingly becomes an animator. It seems to be some sort of modern indentured servitude.
It does. It seems like you just commit yourself to like animating a single character for 16 frames and then never see your family ever again.
What do you love? Animation and suffering.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, sadomasochistic animation would probably be the ideal field to go into, if that's the case. Yeah.
Well, you've obviously been strongly considering it based on your web browsing history, Ben, but that's neither here nor there, because we're going to be having a look at Invincible Season 2, the trailer. And guess who's in it?
Stephen Yeun.
Stephen Yeun's in it. J.K. Simmons is in it.
J.K. Simmons is there.
Yeah, that's really all I took from it. Chloe
Gillian
Bennett.
Jacobs is there. Seth Rogen is in it as well.
Gillian Jacobs, Ben.
Gillian Jacobs.
Her name's Gillian. This is the fourth time we've had this conversation on this podcast.
I'm nothing if not consistently shit as a co-host, Michael.
No, it's not your fault. It's her fault.
Why is it Gillian? Is she trying to be special?
No, that's just her name. That's the woman's name. That's the name of the woman who has that name.
I don't believe her. I don't believe her. I
actress
don't believe
Gillian
a word
Jacobs.
coming out of her mouth, Michael.
I
don't
think she
believe
seems
her.
quite pleasant, so I'd go along with her. I think she's probably a good enough egg.
Gillian, if you want to be on the podcast to set me right, Gillian, to teach me a lesson about how to pronounce your name correctly, please get in touch with us. Although, if you're part of SAG-AFTRA or the WGA, you may not be allowed to do that. So you would be allowed to do that. We won't talk about any of your important work, Gillian. You can just correct
Gillian.
Me. Gillian. See, this is why we need you on, Gillian.
Yeah.
This is why we need you. I just won't learn until you rub my face in it.
Just come on the podcast, do a big poo, and then rub Ben's face in it. Ben.
Oh, God. That took a serious turn.
You couldn't do that.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
Specifically banned by the strike terms.
SAG-AFTRA.
Yeah. No shitting on podcasts. Ben!
Yes.
What the hell is Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose? Is this based on a book?
Michael. I don't know. This trailer popped up. And honestly, Michael, one of the top complaints that we have here very, very often on the podcast is that Hollywood doesn't take any risks anymore, Michael. Hollywood doesn't cover anything original anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I haven't seen in ages, Michael? Is a nice original piece of filmmaking. Well, fuck me, Michael.
What is it?
Fuck me, they taught me a lesson this week. Because this week, we got a trailer for Simon Pegg starring Nandor Fodor and the Talking Mongoose.
The Talking what, sorry?
The Talking Mongoose.
Yes. I thought you said... Yeah.
Yeah, no, Talking Mongoose, Michael. And it's about a Hungarian parapsychologist, Michael.
Oh yeah, Nandor Fodor.
Yes, Nandor Fodor, who has spent his life as a cynic and kind of investigator of the paranormal and has found himself to be largely in a world without wonder. He's been disenchanted, Michael.
Yes.
He's been disenchanted, right? And then he gets an invitation to a mysterious little island.
The Isle of Man, as it's
The Isle of Man, a mysterious little island. This is in the 30s sometime, Michael. It's mysterious. It's the whole thing.
Is it?
The Isle of Man. And it turns out, Michael, that somewhere on the island, in a farmhouse with a family, is a talking mongoose, Michael.
But is there?
But is there, Michael? Or is it just a methane-induced hallucination from a leak somewhere on the island? We'll never know. But, Michael, here's the bit that struck me, is at the beginning it says, based on a true story. And, Michael, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Nandor Fodor was a British-American parapsychologist and author of Hungarian origin. He was born in Hungary and he travelled the world tracking down unusual cases. This is a real thing.
No, it isn't. Benjamin, we'd know
Yes,
if this was real.
Huh?
We'd know if this was real.
It's real. I'm looking at it right now, Michael.
Oh, you can make up anything on the internet. Ben,
Yes.
so it's real.
Yeah. Michael,
the-
this has an all-star cast as well. Like it's a real thing. This has Simon Pegg, Minnie Driver, and Christopher Lloyd, Michael.
Christopher Lloyd's in there.
I know, it's Doc off of the We've Got to Get Back to the Future Times.
Yeah, what was that called again?
We've Got to Get Back to the Future Times. That's what it was called.
Yeah, the boy who got stuck in the past, I think it was called.
The boy who got stuck in the past. And then we had the voice of Neil Gaiman. He's there.
Yeah, as the goose.
Neil Gaiman is a goose, apparently. Yeah, absolutely.
Very strange.
And then some of the other things that we had were it's a very cool looking trailer. It really is.
Yeah, very Enid Blyton mystery-esque, but with a weird sense of, is this just psychological goings on?
It's all spooky psychologicals going on. Looks like to be borrowing heavily, Michael, from the wonderful world of Knives Out.
Yes, exactly, Benjamin. There's some doggos in the background there.
Yes, there's a doggo in the background. Just give me 1 second. You
in
spin
the
your
background.
wheels. Talk more about the trailer, you fuck.
No, you don't need to go. The humans, the listeners understand what dogs are. You don't have to go and shut up the dogs, Ben.
Give me
It's
2
grand.
seconds.
It's grand. You don't have to tell the dog to shut up. The listeners have heard of dogs. They're not going to get upset. We're not going to get people writing in saying, I was really enjoying that podcast, but then there was a dog. There was briefly a dog in the background.
Chance would be a fine thing if we ever had anyone write in. Actually, that reminds us, ladies and gentlemen, if you do have a chance and you're listening to us on any one of the podcasting platforms that you listen on, you could probably drop us a review. And then it wouldn't be such a shameful experience when we drop a little review request in the middle of an episode and you go, oh man, I forgot to do it and now I feel so ashamed. Just go do it now. It's fine. Pause us. Come back to us.
Yeah. Let Ben go sort out the dog with, I assume, no violence.
No, there'll be
then
none. Absolutely zero violence.
Speaking, Ben, of things with absolutely zero violence, the trailer for The Marvels was on there the other day.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that trailer there for the Marvels there on the other day there now, yeah.
Yeah, it was grand, wasn't it?
Was it?
Wasn't it? Yeah, I think it was mostly grand.
Well, it was mostly grand. I mean, look, Michael, this is... how negative am I allowed to be here? I hold no hope, Michael, for any Marvel project from this point on. I just don't think it's good stuff anymore.
It's been rough going for a couple of years there, hasn't it?
I don't even. This is inevitably going to drag us into that wonderful debate again of like, oh, do we just hate it because it's, you know, an all-female led cast? No, it's just it doesn't look that interesting. Like the Marvels, I don't know if I care. I just don't know if I care.
Ben, it's got Brie Larson and two kind of characters from poorly received TV shows.
Yeah, well, one of them wasn't poorly received, in fairness. Monica Rambeau is great. And,
is she?
Well, maybe not great. Great is a strong word, Michael. But the Scarlet Witch TV show was very well received, was it not?
Was it?
Wasn't it?
The first couple where they played around with the sitcom stuff, yes. But the second half, the back end of it is mostly derided for being silly and formulaic, and
because they let it be a little bloody laser show. They just
it was a laser show, and then Scarlet Witch never got any comeuppance and became a baddie very quickly before the start of Masterpiece of Madness or whatever it was called.
Very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, other than those first couple of episodes where it was a sitcom, it's not terribly fondly remembered, and that's the bit that had Monica in it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
Monica Rambeau, the character of Monica Rambeau, wasn't in any of the bits that people thought were good about WandaVision.
Probably not. Come here to me, Michael. Come here to me. We got a loose explanation of their powers.
Yeah, they're
from
light
Monica.
powers.
Their light powers. Was that always the case? Was Captain Marvel a light power based individual?
Yes, pretty much. Captain Marvel. Let's say Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel.
Okay.
Her power is energy manipulation, so energy absorption and lasers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And all energy is... Not all energy is, but energy is electromagnetic radiation, of which light is part of it. So, you know, I can go with that.
Yeah.
And then the second Captain Marvel, or the third Captain Marvel, the second female Captain Marvel, the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel, she is light. She's made of electromagnetic radiation.
That's mad.
In the comics, at least. So she is light. And then Miss Marvel, the third Miss Marvel, is an Inhuman with stretchy limbs. But in the comics, spoilers for the comics, what's going on at the moment, they've had to kill her off to bring her back as a mutant with light powers.
Yeah, they're not going with the stretchy stuff anymore. We're not doing that anymore.
Not like, we'll get rid of this whole Inhuman with stretchy powers. We'll just kill her off and bring her back as a mutant like she is in the TV show.
That'd be much more convenient for sales. I mean, for storytelling continuity.
For storytelling, yeah. So, really, no, there's no link between the three of them and their powers. The link between them is that they share a code name.
Michael, I think one of the it must have been difficult for it must have been very, very, very difficult for Teyonah Parris to deliver the line, "I can see light."
Yeah.
What a way to reduce your power set to just a bit shit in the trailer. I can see light. Yeah, we all can. That's how it works.
That's what seeing is, Monica.
That's what seeing is, Monica Rambeau. But yeah, oh man, look, it looks like a pretty. We've seen this before, though, Michael. We've seen this before because Zoe Ashton is playing Dar-Benn, and Dar-Benn is a 2-issue character from the comics, so it's a name and nothing else. There's been a little bit of controversy around that, Michael. Because some people have gone, oh, Dar-Benn's a man in the comics, you can't just swap genders. Dar-Benn existed for 2 issues, Michael, and was then killed off. Absolutely fine. Give over. Be more One Piece fan.
Yeah.
Be more
Just don't
One
give a
Piece,
shit.
man. Get
Don't
over
give a
it.
shit like a One Piece fan.
Get over it. But Zoe Ashton looks to be playing, because he's an accuser. I would imagine, is this Ronan the Accuser's daughter?
Is the Ronan the Accuser's daughter? Or is
this-
it just Ronan the Accuser because they killed off Ronan the Accuser and like, oh, I wish we hadn't killed off Ronan the Accuser. What if he came back but a woman?
Yeah, we probably shouldn't have killed off one of our most massive Kree characters before we told a bit more of this story.
Yeah.
So Zoe Ashton is playing that, Michael. And then, we're getting the three marbles together. It looks to be a fun conceit at the very least, Michael, that they swap powers every time they use them.
Yeah, that'll be good, I suppose.
I feel like that would make a better video game.
Yeah. I don't know, Ben. I'm no hater of Brie Larson. I think Brie Larson has a very good screen presence.
This is a
By which I
pro
mean
Brie
she's-
Larson podcast.
Yeah, pro Brie Larson podcast, Benjamin. She's a very attractive person and she's good at acting and she can do a pull-up.
Yeah.
But I just cannot see any reason that I would want to go to the cinema to see Brie Larson teaming up with two characters from moderately received TV series. It
broke Michael.
I can't. I just
It full on broke Michael.
It's just like what? Why would I want to go see that? It's like if in like 3 years if they said, well, how about we'll do you a TV series, right? And in this TV series it'll be Shang-Chi and Nick Fury's wife from Secret Invasion and Miss Marvel's assistant boyfriend boy from the Miss Marvel TV show. What about that? Would you like to see that in the cinema? And then I would say, no, I wouldn't like to see that in the cinema. Thank you very much. You can keep your C-list character and your two supporting TV characters to yourself.
I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't need those in my life.
Yeah. Benjamin,
Yeah.
speaking of big screen extravaganza,
Yes.
famously the plural of extravaganza,
Is it?
you've seen Barbie.
I have.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
I have. I've gone to see Barbie, Michael. I've gone to see
Well,
Barbie.
then, why don't you tell us? Is it any use?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh, good. Good podcast.
Yeah. That's
Good
it. We're done
podcast.
now.
We'll wrap
No,
up there for next week.
Michael, I tell you what, it's probably proof that marketing still works pretty damn good.
Oh, this is an unprecedented success of marketing.
Because the cinema I went to, Michael, was packed.
Absolute jammers.
And I'm not talking, a good few rows full. I'm talking to the ceiling jammers with people. Like, everybody wanting to see Barbie. They were in it to win it.
Does that mean something?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm just struggling for a good analogy as to how busy it was. However, Michael, what I would say is, this movie is rated 12A,
Yes.
and a lot of the people in the cinema I was in were children. So
Yes.
a lot of mothers and fathers, mostly mothers, I'll be honest, given my cursory glance around the room, were there to bring their kids to a Barbie movie in live action. And dear God, does this movie miss the mark as a kids movie? Now, it's not a kids movie. It's not anything supposed to be a kids movie. But I'd say there's going to be a lot of kids brought to this film going, huh? What?
Ben, were
Yeah.
you there when we went to see Venom and someone brought toddlers?
Yeah.
Was it like that?
Oh, it's 100% like that. So, Michael, in a
That was
classic, in a classic Sure Look, Sure Listen podcast review, I'm going to do a spoiler-free review first,
Oh.
and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty with a few spoilers in the second bit. All right?
Very good. That's our usual format.
So, the premise of this is very, very simple, Michael. Barbie lives in Barbie Land.
Yes.
And in this film, no spoilers at all, there is a firm distinction between Barbie Land and the real world. Barbie, as a concept, understands that she is a toy that has an impact on the real world.
Okay.
So they're not two separate realities that are clueless of each other. Barbie very much understands that they are a toy, and that they have an influence on the real world. Number two, the reason we see so many Barbies in this, Michael, is that every single career Barbie, astronaut Barbie, politician Barbie, lawyer Barbie, is an individual character within Barbie Land.
Oh, very good. Who plays Mermaid Barbie?
It is Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa plays Mermaid Barbie.
Very good.
So Dua Lipa plays Mermaid Barbie. Now, Margot Robbie's Barbie is stereotypical Barbie. That's her name.
Oh, very
the
clever.
thing. Yeah, she is stereotypical Barbie. So she is the core concept of Barbie, and that's very, very important. She is the Barbie that was dreamt up by Ruth Handler.
She's got a blonde hair and a pink outfit.
She's got a blonde hair and a pink outfit, Michael. Now, Michael, this is aesthetically very solid. The core kind of classic blockbuster film set stuff, it all looks very practical. There's very little special effects done to the Barbie world. It seems to be a constructed set, and it works great for this.
Fabulous. That's what we love to see. We love to see realism.
We love to see a bit of realism in our movies about sentient doll concepts. It's very important. So anyway, unfortunately, stereotypical Barbie has been having ceaseless thoughts of death.
Oh no, that doesn't sound suitable for children.
Now, that's a trademark of the film, and it's exposed in the first 2 minutes, so there's no spoiler there, and we saw it in the trailer as well, so there's no spoilers there. And it is essentially her trying to track down the reason that she has suddenly become self-aware and has an existential crisis, and she has to track it down. Now, the central premise is that she is tied to a person in the real world that is causing this to happen to her.
Oh, who is it? Is it Will Ferrell?
No, so we're not going to go into any of that because that would be a spoiler, but that's the central premise of the thing. Now, meanwhile, Michael, Barbie Land is set up as an absolute matriarchy. It is a woman-centered, woman-focused thing, and there are many types of Kens, just like there are many types of Barbies, and the many types of Kens are just accessories.
Oh yeah, like Simu Liu.
Yeah, Simu Liu is there, Ryan Gosling is there, and they go through it, and it is a little bit of a subplot involving the Kens, and both of the plots kind of come together at the end of the film. And in a spoiler-free review, I think they were going for comedy, and they occasionally sacrifice comedy for making a point. And I think it costs the film.
It's a message film.
Oh, now, Michael, so minor spoilers here. This is a big-time message film.
Oh, I love message. I love when films preach to me.
To the point that I think it does damage to its watchability as a film, and to the point where I think it loses a lot of its core audience.
Oh no. Who's its core audience?
The core audience would be, I assume, those that played with Barbies, enjoyed Barbies, probably went to the Barbie film to see kind of a fun comedy around the concept of Barbie.
Oh no. Oh no. So like Irish 30-year-old women who are, you know, big time partiers, and they don't care about politics or anything like that. And they're going to go, let's go, girlos, let's go see Barbie. And then they're going to sit there for a 2.5 hour lecture on modern feminism.
It's not going to make them happy.
That's fucking gas.
Now, Michael,
you probably loved it.
As a film experience,
yeah.
As a person who is a fan of Greta Gerwig and enjoys her films, great Greta Gerwig film. Right up there with the classics. Get it up there. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good. A really excellent feminist primer for your audience. A fun way to explore the problems of patriarchy and the issues facing feminism in our society in a fun way. It's very much, Michael, do you remember we talked about The Big Short on this before, where Margot Robbie explains subprime lending?
Yes.
Remember that in the bathtub?
Yes.
It's like Greta Gerwig saw that and went, I'll make a whole movie out of that, but I'll do it on feminism.
Oh.
And it's very enjoyable.
That's
very
not what the
enjoyable.
marketing says.
Not the best cohesive film.
Ugh.
Yeah. So, okay, we'll go into spoilers from here because I've managed to avoid a lot of spoilers there. So we're going into full spoilers here, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want full spoilers, move ahead. If you want to stay for this little bit, it'll be fun because I kind of out myself as an out-and-out sexist and misogynist. But the best thing about this film, Michael, is Ryan Gosling.
Oh, The noted man, Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling's Ken is one of the greatest comedic creations in the history of cinema. It is a phenomenal character, and he plays it to a T. And I think, unfortunately, the consensus... It's really unfortunate. Margot Robbie does a fantastic job as Barbie, but Margot Robbie is playing a very sincere version of a childhood concept come to life with full awareness and wants and desires. And she goes through that journey as an adult woman realizing that she has wants and desires. And that's fine. She does an excellent job of that. It's really well portrayed on screen. Ryan Gosling gets to be Ken. Ken doesn't have an internal awakening or an arc. He has an arc. It would be unfair to say that he doesn't have an arc. So here's the interesting thing, right? I'll get into this with you.
Okay,
Barbie
are we spoilers or no spoilers here?
Spoilers from this point on.
Oh, we're in spoilers. Okay.
Spoilers from this point on. Barbie and Ken go to the real world.
Yes.
In Barbie land, Barbie is at the top of society because she's a woman in the matriarchy. When they go to the real world, Ken very quickly realizes that men rule the world.
Oh, very good.
Right? And he is delighted at this to the point where he's like, oh my God, I'm not a second-class citizen here. And Ken has the realization that he doesn't have to be at the bottom of society. Now, it's not an evil, vindictive thing. And the really clever thing of this film is... Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach have created a perfect analogy for the patriarchy in Barbie Land, but in inverse. They are showing the unfairness of patriarchy to its viewers by making it Ryan Gosling at the bottom of society, not understanding what he's losing out on because they have a very gender-exclusive society. But in Barbie Land, it's for women. In using that model, they are able to show you the damaging effects of patriarchy inverted. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I'm very skeptical. But so, go on.
Ryan Gosling goes back to Barbie Land with the lessons of patriarchy, and he breaks their society by introducing patriarchy to the Kens and putting them on top of society.
Oh, fabulous.
But he does this women in the best way ever. It's a joy to watch, and it's not vindictive. He's just showing them another way of doing it, and through that we understand that Ken has gotten the raw end of the deal for decades, since Barbie's creation, and it's a very interesting way at looking at sexism in society without trying to alienate your audience. However, it makes for a terrible Barbie film. Like, it's not
and
fun.
Alienates its audience.
That alienates its audience, and we can see that's happening in reviews, Michael. A lot of influencers are going to this and coming out going, I just didn't get it. It wasn't a very good Barbie film. And it isn't. It's not a very good Barbie film. You might have had a better time, Michael, making this about a Barbie-esque character, like a stand-in for Barbie. You know, I don't know, the Mindy doll or something. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And you could have done a similar thing and made it a parody. You might have had more success then. I think because so many people are expecting a Barbie heavy experience, and it's, in fairness, it pays off massively. The character acting from some of the people is fantastic. Barbie Land itself is wonderful. The play on all the different Barbies that have been out over the decades is phenomenal. Like, it's a really well-made movie in parts that's very comedic and very well done, but it sacrifices that way too often to preach a certain message. Margot Robbie is in a very different film from everybody else.
Oh no.
Look, some people might disagree with me on that, but Barbie's entire arc is so serious. Stereotypical Barbie's arc is a very serious arc. And the major spoiler is she ends up becoming a real woman. She leaves Barbiedom behind. She outgrows it and she becomes a real woman.
Is it about abandoning your childhood, Ben?
It's not. It's about, I guess it's more about understanding that your childhood may not have prepared you for adulthood in the way you would have liked. And the way that's done, Michael, is in tons of existential crises. There's a huge conversation about death and legacy in the last quarter of the film. And I can only imagine that a lot of people were going home talking to their children, and their children were going, what did she mean she's terrified of death?
Yeah, am I scared of death, Mummy?
Should I be scared of death? And I would imagine that happened a lot, which is really funky. Like, it's a good film. It's an enjoyable film, but it's a Greta Gerwig film first and a Barbie film second. And that's not a Venn diagram. That's two separate circles.
Benjamin, those toddlers that saw Venom 2 at the same time as us, they didn't go home scared of death. They went home scared of carnage.
Which is fair enough. This is much worse because death is always there, Michael.
Yeah, and real. Yeah. As opposed to the fictional character Carnage.
Like a beautifully made film, some phenomenal performances in it. It's a good film. It's not the film that I think Mattel is going to be happy with.
Mattel have seen it though, Ben.
I know.
They haven't not seen it.
I think maybe they went off. I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't think it's going to do. It doesn't have a cohesive feel to it, and I think it suffers from that on occasion. There are some lovely moments, like it's a fun arc, but as I said, Ryan Gosling steals the show. He's just given room to be comedic, which I think is a bit of a disservice to Margot Robbie, because Margot Robbie's a very funny actress. She's very capable of comedy. She doesn't get the same capability because she is forced to play it sincere, and she takes the role very seriously. Ryan Gosling has great crack. He's having the time of his life in this.
Should have just made it a Ken film.
So this is the second controversy. It is a Ken film.
Right, go on.
It is a Ken film. Ken's arc is far more important. Ken goes to the other side, realizes he'd been mistreated his entire life, overcorrects by bringing patriarchy back to Barbie land, and Barbie is forced to confront the fact that she has mistreated Ken throughout her life. And Ken goes through this wonderful arc of understanding what patriarchy is and isn't, and understanding the damaging effect that patriarchy can have both on external society and women, but also on men themselves. It's
Sounds
fascinating.
Sounds very preachy. Anyway,
Yeah.
what if cars had guns on them and they were having a big fight?
Oh, yeah, Michael. So my favourite way to explore existential dread is through fire-breathing cars. Fucking
Yeah,
great.
just have cars. Just get cars and stick a lot of cars on them. Ben, this is all in honour of the Twisted Metal franchise.
Yeah.
Because Anthony Mackie, Ben, he's doing a big Twisted Metal.
He is. He's doing a big old Twisted Metal.
And we saw the trailer for it there a minute ago. And I tell you what, my enthusiasm has been dampened by this trailer a little bit.
Oh no, Michael. Has it pissed in your cornflakes?
A little bit, because this is much more The Postman than I thought it was going to be.
Tell me more about that now, Michael. What do you mean?
Kevin Costner's The Postman.
I've never seen it.
Kevin Costner's The Postman is set in a post-apocalyptic world where society has broken down and there are small groups of survivors in isolated communities across North America.
Right.
And Kevin Costner hits upon the idea of becoming a courier
Oh, yeah.
between these communities
Yeah.
and realises that, by going out into the wilderness and crossing the dangerous wild lands, he might be able to gradually bring a bit of civilization back to the world.
Oh no, you've mixed up 2023's trailer for Twisted Metal with some kind of Kevin Costner movie. Sorry.
Very good, The Postman. But anyway, Ben, let's very briefly talk about why this trailer didn't inspire me a super huge amount,
Yeah, go on.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'd be happy to indulge that, Michael.
It's one very big thing.
Yeah.
And the very big thing is, what sets Twisted Metal, the franchise Twisted Metal, the PlayStation 1 franchise Twisted Metal,
Yep.
PlayStation's longest running exclusive franchise, Twisted Metal.
Is this the longest running?
It's the longest running exclusive franchise on the whole PlayStation.
Get out of town.
Would you believe? But Ben, what sets it apart from other vehicular combat games
Yeah.
is, well, think about a vehicular combat game, Ben. Most of them are post-apocalyptic.
Rocket League.
Rocket League's not a vehicular combat game.
GTA.
GTA is not a vehicular combat game, Ben.
I've run out of examples.
Okay, do you want some examples?
Yeah, give me more.
I'll give you some examples. Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah, is that PlayStation's longest running franchise?
No, PlayStation's longest running exclusive franchise.
Sorry, is that PlayStation's longest running exclusive franchise?
It is, would you believe?
Get out of town.
Vigilante 8, Ben.
Oh yeah. I have no idea what that is.
Vigilante 8 is a car combat game set in a kind of fictionalized science fiction 1970s.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, in like America's South. It's good. It's got like UFO vibes and like disco.
That's cool.
Carmageddon, Ben.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Carmageddon. Post-apocalyptic. Everything's post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And a lot of those post-apocalyptic vibes for the genre of vehicular combat come from one film in particular.
Okay, tell me.
Do you know what film it is?
Michael, now I know what film it is because you texted me that you watched it this week. But however...
Yes. For the conceit, though, it's Death Race 2000, the
Very
Roger
good.
Corman 1978 film Death Race 2000, Ben.
I had no idea. Get Out of Town.
Have you never seen it?
I've seen Death Race with Jason Statham. I don't think I've ever seen the original Death Race.
Death Race with Jason Statham is the 2007 reimagining.
Right.
It might be later. But the original Roger Corman, Ben, it's funny that it's funny because it's a real low budget thing. It's one of my favorite genre, Ben. It's my favorite genre. One of my favorite genres of cinema is America's fucking shit, isn't it?
Yeah. And then the apocalypse happens.
No, not necessarily. The apocalypse doesn't have to happen. It's just, here's a shit thing about American society. One of the kind of flagship movie series of the America's shit genre is The Purge.
Yeah, America's just shit.
America's shit, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
America's
it's not
shit.
as shit as this fictionalized version we're portraying, but it's not far off.
It's pretty shit.
It's pretty shit. And Death Race 2000 is that, basically. In Death Race 2000, Ben, America has gone to shit.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what else is it's very similar to in the America is shit genre?
Go on.
The Hunger Games.
Oh, America's shit.
America is shit, isn't it? Now, you can call it Pan Am, but it's America, and we all know it.
Yeah, we all know it. No,
And
you
in
can't
Death
lie
Race-
to us.
Can't lie to us, we know. In Death Race 2000, Benjamin, the President of America, Mr. President, who's the President for life,
Oh.
and once a year he holds a transcontinental road race
Okay.
with 5 entrants, and each of the entrants enters in a car that's like themed around something to do with their personality or their style.
Nice.
So you have, for example, Frankenstein.
Oh, good.
And Frankenstein is like a half man, half machine cybernetic badass who's won the last 4 races.
Excellent.
And then you have Calamity Jane, Ben, and she's a cowgirl.
Oh.
And she drives a car that has bull horns on it.
Oh, that's very thematic.
Exactly. And then you have Machine Gun Joe, Ben, and he's a Chicago mobster.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. And he's played by Sylvester Stallone.
Get out of town.
And he's in a pinstripe suit and he's got a Tommy gun.
So, what else would you be in if you were a 1930s gangster-style death racer?
Exactly, Benjamin. And then you've got Nero the Hero, Ben. And he dies in the first 10 minutes, so he doesn't really get developed very much. But he was played by the guy from Karate Kid.
And was it a bit of a Roman emperor?
I think so. But it's not particularly well developed.
Oh, okay.
So it's he's killed off pretty quickly. But then they have the best character, Benjamin. They have the sexy Nazi lady.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's a blonde lady and she's in a car that's painted like a World War II Nazi airplane with swastikas, and she's a Nazi.
Oh, I don't like that.
But she's a sexy Nazi, so it's fine, I guess. So anyway, Ben, they're having a road race across America.
Oh, yeah.
And you win the race by being first, but you get points for killing people as you go.
Oh, very American.
Very American. American shit, Ben. It's like the Purge.
Shit.
And everyone's like, don't be on the roads this weekend because you might get killed by this sexy Nazi lady.
Oh boy.
So
who's the main character of this?
the main character is Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Played by
Okay.
David Carradine.
Oh yeah, we know David Carradine.
One of your favourites, Ben. The same kind of broadly the same character that Jason Statham plays in the 2007 remake.
Very
But
good.
The two movies share very little plot or DNA, really. But yes. So anyway, it's a great film, Ben. You saw it. You did see it because you texted me and said one of my favourite things about these 1970s exploitation films is lovely bit of tit in them.
That sounds like something I would send you automatically. That's what I sent you in the middle of the Barbie film, Michael. I said, this really isn't for me. There's not enough. Lovely bit of tit.
There's not enough tit in this. I
Yes.
was really expecting more tit.
I only want one. I don't even need a pair.
I don't know, Ben. Something about saying it in the singular makes it much more gross.
Oh, it's so much worse, Michael. I'm going to take a shower after this podcast.
The 1978 film is surprisingly good. Like, low budget, but it's the originator, pretty much, of the car combat genre.
Oh, very good.
Until 1995.
Yeah, there it is. Look, it's up on the board there.
Because that's when we got Twisted Metal.
Yeah, Twisted Metal was introduced. Michael, did you know that Twisted Metal is PlayStation's longest running exclusive franchise?
Yeah, I did know that. But Ben, what I was saying, that what this to circle back to where we were, from Death Race, great film, by the way.
Great film.
It surprisingly holds up. It's real dumb and very sexist.
Real dumb.
It's real dumb and very sexist, but it's the kind of like straight, flat out, no guile, just balls to the wall satire that you would never get made anymore.
Oh.
You know, it's just so obvious in its satire. It's hilariously straightforward. But what was I saying? Yes, what disappointed me about the Twisted Metal trailer,
Go on.
is what separates Twisted Metal, the game franchise, from all of these other post-apocalyptic car combat, society is degraded, isn't America shit, is its supernatural element.
Yeah, voodoo.
So, Twisted Metal is a heavily supernatural franchise.
It's got demons in it, and pacts, and devils, and divilment.
And this seems to be replacing that with a woman with political power who can grant you a wish.
Now, Michael, I'll be honest. This is apparently Raven, who is a character in the later Twisted Metal franchises.
Oh, very good.
She's a
yes.
goth character. But Michael, I reckon the twist of Twisted Metal might be she is Calypso.
Yeah, go on. Who's Calypso?
So it's very important, Michael. In the previous one, America's President for Life, isn't that what you said?
Yeah, Mr. President. Yeah.
Mr. President, El Presidente, but American, is the man who organises that event. But in Twisted Metal, the Twisted Metal tournament is organised by Calypso, the mysterious man who sends you an email, Michael, that says, "Will you drive?"
Oh, I thought he was the ice cream. The tropical
No.
ice cream that comes in a tube. That's a Calippo.
That's a Calippo. That's a very different franchise, Michael. That's called Twister, and it's about the Ice Pop Wars. It's a whole thing. So in this, Michael, Calypso is the man who will offer you a chance to compete in the Twisted Metal tournament, and it is a car combat tournament, as you might have guessed. Gladiators, but in cars.
Yeah.
And in this, you are fighting for the one big wish, Michael.
Oh, could I make a big wish?
Yeah, so if you win the Twisted Metal tournament, you go to Calypso and you say, "Here, come here to me, I won, give me my wish." And he'll say, "Oh, be careful what you wish for, because I'm a tricksy little devil boy, and I'll make it a bloody barbed wish, and you'll wish you hadn't wished it."
You nearly did a pretty good Calypso impression there.
Oh, did I? Was it close?
Yeah, when you said, "Oh, ho, ho, be careful what you wish for." I can't do it, but you nearly did it by mistake.
I nearly did it by mistake. But Calypso is the enigmatic supernatural force behind the Twisted Metal tournament, Michael, and has been since the early days of the franchise. Yeah. Now, in the early days of Twisted Metal, in 1995, it was just a fun kind of beat 'em up in your car kind of gig. That was its whole point, Michael.
Did you play one, Ben?
I have a vague memory of playing Twisted Metal, but I'm not 100% sure.
So Twisted Metal 1 was pretty close to a launch title for PlayStation 1. It wasn't a launch title, I don't think, but it was close to.
Right.
And it was produced on a very low budget with a very short deadline.
Oh, tight.
And very, very tight deadline. And one of the things it doesn't have is end sequences.
Oh,
which
no.
the later games became famous for.
They did.
In particular, Twisted Metal 2 has like end sequences that are remembered nearly 30 years later. Twisted Metal 1, it's almost worth looking at Twisted Metal 1 rather than as the original, as a proof of concept for the much better package and experience that is Twisted Metal 2.
Yeah, so that came out a year later, Michael. So I suppose that's only testament to what you were just saying there. 1995 is, okay, get this out so people know what's coming. And then in 1996, less than like a year later, just being like, this is what it was supposed to be the first time.
Yeah, or even like, people like that stupid little car racing game you made. Do it better.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we'll just add bits in. Yeah. More characters.
That's better.
More characters, more supernatural shit. A man who's between two big wheels and his arms are in the wheels.
Yeah. What's his name again? Axel? Is that his
Axel.
name? Axel, yeah. So in 1998 then, 3 years later, Michael, we got Twisted Metal 3, which is pretty much kind of another expansion kit as we went along. Twisted Metal 4 came out in 1999. And then, Michael, we got Twisted Metal 5, except we didn't really call it Twisted Metal 5, we called it Twisted Metal Black. And Twisted Metal Black is a real departure for the entire series, because Twisted Metal Black is like, I suppose, the edgelord that comes to the family party. I don't know.
It's as dark as shit.
Yeah. There's a reason it's called Twisted Metal Black. As opposed to Twisted Metal 5. Calypso is a much more twisted kind of devil character. All of the characters have severe trauma in their backstories, and nobody gets a happy ending in Twisted Metal Black. It's not happening for anybody in this particular case. So there are a few new things, like the environment's got a big boost, the physics engine got a real boot up the hole, so these kinds of things were pretty good. There was the dark side power that was introduced, that was like a power up for your vehicle that you could push through. And then what really set it apart, I suppose, like you said, the end screens from the previous games were quite important and have become quite famous, but these brought in whole new elements of like trauma and violence and things like that, and every single character got a unique backstory, which is revealed through cutscenes before and after the tournament. So if you played the story mode, you went through playing those. One of the most famous characters in the entire franchise, if not the most famous character, was Sweet Tooth. And he's a psychotic serial killer who is committed to a mental asylum after a killing spree. He comes back from the dead a few times. He's a bit of a Jason character, and it's real twisted. And then we got Dollface as well, and she was a woman who couldn't remove a mask from her face after an accident. She's kind of a serial killer, and it was very interesting, but very, very dark, Michael.
Very dark, Ben. There are fabulous fan theories on Twisted Metal Black. I'm sure you've read about some of them.
Yeah.
But probably the biggest one, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling what you were about to say.
That's all right.
Is that the whole thing is actually happening in Sweet Tooth's head.
Yeah, so that's one of the big ones, is that, this is all a delusion thought up by Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, and Sweet Tooth and Calippo and Minion are all the same character, actually. They're three aspects of one madman.
Yeah, so Minion is an interesting one. Minion, I suppose, is... So Calypso and Minion get crossed over all the time, and it's very hard to know where one character ends and the other character begins, because Minion comes in... Is it Twisted Metal 2 where he's introduced?
Yeah, I think it's 2, yeah.
Yeah, and Minion is kind of another little edgelord, and I suppose he was one that we were kind of familiar with, but he's mental as well. And then there was a few theories that it's all in Minion's head, and then it became all in Sweet Tooth's head, and so on and so forth. So some of the major characters that we've seen in it, Michael, are Mr. Grimm. He appears as we go along. He's pretty much a Grim Reaper who rides a motorcycle. He gets a bit of a voodoo backstory at some point. He gets a Jamaican accent every once in a while. Very strange.
Yeah, is he in 2? Is he the one? He's one of the very few characters who, in his wish, he actually one-ups Calippo. Yeah,
he wins. He actually wins.
He wins.
Yeah.
Is he the one who, like, when he meets Calippo on the roof, he's like, "Come here to me, you bloody saucy little tube of ice cream, you." And he gives him a big lick.
Yeah, that's it. That's how he beats him.
No, that's the other franchise. Sorry, that's Ice Pop Wars. Is he the one who goes up on the roof and he's like, "Here, come here. Here's the souls of everyone who died in your stupid competition," and all the souls are like, "Ah!"
And they go and get Calippo.
Bollocks. Yeah, and they drag him down to hell or whatever.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. He gets one over him.
Yeah.
There's a few other characters, Michael. There's Outlaw, who's a police. It's a police car driven throughout the series. Often a member of the police force who's entered the tournament. Sometimes it's a character, sometimes it's the car. It depends. There's Axel, the man who is a car.
Axel has a great ending.
What happens there? I can't even remember.
Axel's dad put him in the wheels.
Oh.
And in his ending, he wishes to confront the person who did this to him. And he goes and is like, you put me in this. Look at me, Dad. My arms are wheels, you son of a bitch. And his dad's like, whatever. Get out of here. Drive off. Roll on. Rock and roll, whatever. And he's like, nah, I'm sick of this. And he just rips his arms out of the wheels.
Oh.
And he's like, fuck you then. And he just goes off into a cornfield with 2 bloody stumps.
What?
Oh, gross and horrible.
That's mental.
Yeah, it's mental. Twisted Metal 2 has some great endings.
It's twisted. It is pure twisted.
Absolute twisted.
But yeah, so this does look like to be a bit of a sanitized version of where it's just a bit like Mad Max, but in...
Well, Ben, when we're talking vehicular combat, I think you have some temerity and some cheek and some pair of cojones on you to say just a bit when referring to one of probably the best vehicular combat movie of all time, Mad Max. Especially Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, but I mean, it's... Yeah, okay, go on.
You know, there aren't many great vehicular combat movies, Ben.
There aren't.
There's the original Death Race.
Yeah.
There's Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
And then there's bits of Jason Statham's 2007-ish video game simulator Death Race.
Bits.
It's rubbish. There's Ian McShane in it, though.
He's there, yeah.
He's playing the character of Ian McShane.
Yeah, he's there. For whatever fucking weird reason. But yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be enjoyable. I thought it was some of the casting choices are big. Like Stephanie Beatriz is there off is there off of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She looks to be playing a Dollface-esque character who doesn't talk too much and is a bit of a lethal weapon on the road. Bloody, what's her name? No.
Neve Campbell. She's going to be the Calypso Raven character of the whole thing. Anthony Mackie looks like he's having fun. Which character do you think he's going to be? Because he's got amnesia in this, apparently. Yeah, he's called John Doe, isn't he? So he's just going to be, put a Hollywood name in.
Maybe he'll be Mr. Grimm at some point.
Put a normal fella in and then very gradually decide which canon character he's going to be. Benjamin, of course, the real bit of big casting is the dual casting of Sweet Tooth.
Yes, Sweet Tooth is 2 characters. So it's Samoan Joe as the body and Will Arnett as the voice.
Gas bit of casting.
Yeah, gas. Thomas Hayden Church is in there as a police officer.
He's some sort of outlaw type character.
Yes, we've last seen him, Michael, in Spider-Man's as the Sandman.
Yeah.
It's the last time I remember seeing Thomas Hayden Church. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in that trailer. Look, we'll watch it, Michael. It's not like there's anything else coming out soon, so we'll have to watch it. You and I are going to have a big ethical discussion, Michael, about what kind of content we're going to put out in the future.
We're just going to make our own TV shows.
Yeah, I think
we're not SAG members.
We're not SAG members, it's true. But we'll never win a BAFTA.
I don't want to win a BAFTA.
We won't even win an IFTA.
Oh, fucking hell. We're never going to get Catherine Thomas to give us an award.
I don't know who Catherine Thomas is, which speaks more to what we're talking about than anything else. But ladies and gentlemen, what was your favourite series on the PlayStation back when it came out?
No, that's not the question. What was your favourite Twisted Metal, and why was it Twisted Metal 2 the best one?
Why was Twisted Metal 2 the best one? Get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us in a few different ways, ladies and gentlemen. You can find us on the interwebs at www.seomrabeag.com, SEOMORABEAG.com.
It means tiny room in Irish.
It does indeed. You can find us on Instagram at Shilukshlisson Podcast.
It means Shilukshlisson, but in English this time.
You can find us on YouTube at Shilukshlisson Podcast.
Yep. Well, that's a new one. Ben's just throwing wildcards at me here.
And you can find us on TikTok at Shilukshlisson.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, we're all over the place. All over the place. Like a bad smell. Can't get rid of us. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2 weeks' time, you can actually meet Michael and myself in person. We'll be at Dublin Comic Con. 3 weeks' time? 2 weeks' time?
Is that 2 weeks' time?
Is it 2 weeks' time? Today's the 23rd.
Oh, holy moly. 1, 2... No, it's 3.
It's 3 weeks. In 3 weeks' time, you will be able to get in touch with myself and Michael. We will be at Dublin Comic Con conducting our usual interviews. If, by any chance, you're listening to this and you fancy being interviewed, if you've gotten all the way to the end of the episode, if you're a cosplayer or a content creator and you're over there at Dublin Comic Con in August, do come and find us and get in touch.
Yeah, especially if you're dressed as a character from the Twisted Metal franchise.
That'd be great. We'd love to see you.
That would be fabulous.
Very good.
See you then.
Vroom. Vroom, vroom.
Vroom, 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 but demons.